Niagara Falls, get here. Give the marble. What is it? Give the marble.
In case anybody needs to catch audio, we'll bring our speakers here. They'll do a quick 2-minute scrub.
Let's see. I mean, we have time. I mean, there's now.
Thank you.
When I was standing in front of the Arch, the mayor, Mr. Godawi, one of the great things about Palmyra, the thing that made that city this shining example of Eastern and Western cooperation, was the extent to which its economic success, its artistic success, its scientific achievements relied on the diversity of its population. Palmyra, like New York City, was this amazing crossroads where people from all around the region collected, and they collected there to live their lives with their families, but they also collected there to bring their unique talents to bear on the communal enterprise in making that city great. And indeed they did in the same way that New York has thrived. And it's funny because New York has thrived in exactly the same ways as Palmyra, the center of commerce, the center of art, the center of technology, the center of learning. Palmyra was all those things and for all the same reasons. For that reason, New York City, I think of all the stops that we make on this trip, will always be one of the ones nearest and dearest to my heart. As a person who's lived off and on in New York City, and as a daughter who goes to school here, it's special to me for that reason too. But everything about Palmyra that was great is great about New York City. So it's a moment for New Yorkers to reflect on their connection both to other places around the world, but also their role in the arc of history throughout time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Roger Michael, R-O-G-E-R-M-I-C-H-E. Bell. I'm the executive director of the Institute of Digital Archaeology. It's located in Oxford. And this, we did the photogrammetry on which it's based and manufactured the arch in Carrara, Italy. It's made of 30,000 pounds of Egyptian marble that's all been meticulously carved to replicate all of the details of the original arch.
Will it stay here permanently?
No, it looks like it should because it fits here so beautifully. It's framed by the trees as if they were pruned for the arch, but it's only here for a week. We'll have other events here on the square, in the plaza over the course of the week. We're having a concert later in the week. There'll be another event with the mayor's office later in the week, but it's only here for a week. Then it will go to Dubai, and we've been invited to have it find a final home somewhere in the Middle East. So.
How will these events contextualize
So I think the nice thing for people to come is it can be appreciated on lots of levels. You can appreciate the technical achievement. I'll give you the simplest answer. We were at the arch in Trafalgar Square when that was up back in April, and we had some folks who had traveled from France, some Syrians who had traveled from France to come and see it. And I explained what a great reconstruction it was and how much work had gone into making it as accurate as it could be. And she said, I don't care about any of that. She said to me, I grew up 50 or 60 miles from where the arch originally stood, because I never once went to see it. She said, I've traveled all the way from France to come and see your arch. To me, this is not just a reconstruction or a recreation. This is a whole new monument that represents a gesture of peace. It represents the courage of the photographers that took the photographs from which this object was made. It represents the efforts of all the other people on Trafalgar Square that day to get there and see it and share the experience. It was a brand new monument for her, and I think that's a great context for people to bring to a visit when you come to City Hall Plaza, is to think about your own relationship to the built environment, your own relationship to places that are meaningful to you, why those relationships between yourself and particular places are meaningful. I think that people have special places in their own personal history that are meaningful to them, but they're often also things that connect them to larger groups. And that double dimension of having a personal relationship with an object or a place or a structure, but in a way that also brings you closer to a community, it would be a great frame for visiting the arch on the square.
Will there be talks about its history, the object's history?
Yes, and there's also, I should say, ongoing right now as we stand here, there's an augmented reality experience. There are tiles all around City Hall Plaza. If you load an app, and there's a QR code for that, and scan these, you can have AR experiences of this monument, of related monuments. It also contains educational materials. We have a program running at the New York Public Library for over a month that includes exhibitions that relate to the general history of the object, but also for vision impaired folks who want to enjoy the history of these objects as well. We thought we're doing an AR experience, which is a purely visual experience. It'd be great to counterbalance that with an experience for folks who can't see and yet still want to have these kinds of experiences. That was an important part of the Trafalgar Square installation, as it turned out, having the ability to come up and hug this thing, to grab it, to feel it, and for folks that can't see, that's all the more meaningful. So yes, there are these ancillary exhibitions. There's something happening at the Grolier Library later in the week. The website, cityhallarch.org, has all of that information, times, dates, and places.
Okay. So beyond this arch, this digital archaeology, do you have plans to reproduce more of these, or is this just kind of a symbolic, obviously it's a symbolic gesture, but what's the next?
The Institute for Digital Archaeology runs a group of related programs. One is we run something called the Million Image Database, millionimage.org is what it is. And that is a massive global photogrammetry project designed to document at-risk heritage objects around the world. Really, it's meant to document heritage objects wherever they are and whatever their state. We're focusing currently on at-risk objects for obvious reasons, because it's a time-limited opportunity to capture those. And that photogrammetry is being done in a way that will allow us to make reconstructions like this. However, we never impose reconstructions on folks. We always come in by way of invitation. So, for example,
I don't want to see this today.
But again, it has to be something driven by folks in the region who are specifically invited to make this arch, and that's why we're doing our additional project.
Is this music
music? Is this like traditional Palmyra music, or?
Well, that's the great thing. I mean, Palmyra music is like traditional New York music. I mean, you can go over to Tonic and hear the latest in avant-garde jazz, you know, or you can go to Lincoln Center and hear, you know, different kinds of offerings. You know, traditional things, some would say traditional, I guess. Palmyra, there's such a thing as traditional Palmyra music. The other neat thing about Palmyra is that it was a city of the middle class. Everybody associates the luxury objects of antiquity with the very wealthy, with the Roman senators and their togas. One of the great things that made Palmyra great was the fact that it was a city where the middle class, for the first time, maybe anywhere, flourished. And lots of the great achievements, artistic and otherwise, were a product of the efforts of average middle class folks.
Because of the Baal?
Given an opportunity.
So I think you don't approve of this.
Given resources that we can make some of these things permanently.
Right.
And you know, New York City is, I think,
There's
great.
nothing wrong.
You got folks
It's
that
just
are
like
patrons of the
going to
arts.
the pyramids or something.
Every walk of life in the city that contributes to its greatness. So there is no traditional music in Palmyra. There's music for every walk of life, and this music, though, is regionally sourced. You'll have to speak to the musicians because they're playing about 10 different compositions. Each one of them has an interesting story, and it's worth chatting with these folks. They really do have really interesting things to say about where they get their music. Thank you very much.